I came to composing later in life, absolutely, 32 really. Before that, I was fiddling about trying to teach myself how to read and write music, and that was proving extremely frustrating. Not least because as soon as I learned something, I got bored with it and wanted to learn the next thing. And also that my imagination, my musical imagination, was leaps and bounds ahead of what I was trying, the level I was at technically, and able to express that in any way. And I also didn't play any instruments really. I could sit on the piano and kind of improvise and make sounds and things, but I couldn't play any instrument properly. And I had to teach myself to read and write music. So that process, because I also had a lot of other life things going on at the time, didn't actually come to a point where I felt, okay, I'm now writing music until I'm 32 years old. How did it feel? A bit of a relief, kind of scary, kind of wonderful. At that, oh gosh, what's the word, naive age, when you're composing, you kind of think the world is your oyster, everything is easy, everybody in music work brilliantly, the people work brilliantly together, it's like one collegiate family, and there are no rivalries, there's no jealousies, everything is just like wonderful. And then after about 3 or 4 years in the biz, you realise that it actually isn't like that at all, that people are very insecure, people can be very hostile, and very obstructive and very nasty. Not all, there are people who are the opposite to that. So when you're launched from a position of knowing no composers and no musicians, as I was, to suddenly being on Radio 3, suddenly in front of the BBC Philharmonic. And when I say suddenly, I mean from a point of being on the Isle of Skye, writing music on my little Acorn computer, staring out onto a road in almost complete isolation, with my only musical friends being amateurs who played locally, who couldn't play my stuff at all, but did try very hard. To then to be Peter Maxwell Davies, and to, as I say, to suddenly go out there and people to say, oh yes, next rising star, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff, and you think, oh, my dream has come true. I'm part of this family that I wanted to be part of, and I've always looked at as being a distant thing that I'm just not good enough to be this, and I'm not good enough to be that. And then suddenly you're there. That was a very strange, disconcerting, but wonderful period. And I really thought it was going to be just like, I thought trajectory was just going to be like that, unstoppable. Life teaches you differently, and you kind of have to grow up quite quickly. On the plus side, because I came to music at that age, and because I had learnt how to write music and had time to think about what it was I wanted to do, I actually came as a composer with my own voice. And not only that, a lot of things that I taught myself to do that were incorrect became my technique. I just went straight into imagination to writing.